Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. Turn me round. Turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody.
What was significant? Everything was significant. I mean, that's something you can't replicate in the classroom.
Light of freedom. I'm gonna let it shine.
My husband had just closed the membership drive as chair of the membership drive. The NAACP only had the membership drive as a financial sort of drive each year. And Rosa worked with the youth department of the NAACP. So she was well known in the community. And when she refused to give up her seat, that was it. And the rest is history. So that is why the community came together. Because this was somebody who was not a rebel rouser, who was not young, who was not trying to create anything. She just wanted to sit down on the bus and go home as everybody else did. And after that, Ralph Abernathy, E.B. Nixon called my husband. He was about to go on his run. He was a Pullman car porter. And he said, Ralph, you call the ministers. I'm going to call my pastor, who was Reverend Hubbard. And Ralph called the ministers. He said, now, I don't know the new pastor at Dexter, because Martin was the new pastor in town. But Ralph was pastoring First Baptist Church, the oldest Black Baptist church in Montgomery. And he called Martin, and they decided that they would go around and call the ministers and go to the dives and dens and all on Saturday night. And they did, to make sure the word got out that we were not riding the buses on Monday in protest of Rosa Parks' arrest. And from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it just got good to us. So we kept it going for 381 days. But the women were the foot soldiers for the movement. Had it not been for the women, there never would have been a movement. Now you look on the marches, the men were naturally the leaders, because that was just the order of the day. It wasn't because women didn't have the ability, but it was just what was prevalent in our society at that time. Men had the right to do
You can never
everything.
change people's minds. We can change the laws, like we have our voting rights and we have our legal rights, but you can never change the minds of anybody, whether you're going to be racist
Do you
or...
think that's true? You can never change the
No,
minds?
you can only change yourself. You can't change somebody else's mind, whatever. Like, I feel like if you're going to be racist, you're going to think that I can't change that for you. You have to want to change that yourself.
I woke up this morning with my mind was set.
Listen, each one of you is holding history in your hand. I stood on that rock on this ragged cement in 1965, March 7th to be exact. Prior to walking right out through there to be beaten up on that bridge. That day went down in history as Bloody Sunday. I've been fighting to save this cement. Particularly in the black community. We tear down the old things because we have no connection. Our slavery had to be the most insidious slavery of all mankind. Everything was taken away from us. Everything. And we keep looking for that piece that would tie us together. But we keep letting people tear it down. I've been fighting for this cement since 1989. It used to go all out there. And this is all I got left now, period. But you know, I think I'm gonna be able to save it because historic preservation is involved now, and I think we're gonna be able to keep it. Thousands and thousands and thousands of children and adults have walked across here and held that history in their hand. Man, that look like Dr. Reese's rock. Held that history in their hand and connected to it. I felt it would be better for you to hold that history in your hand rather than me go out there and point. And this is where the march from Selma to Montgomery live. You're actually holding a piece of that history in your hand. And it makes a difference to our children. They connect. I want you to send prayers up because I think it's too important to just trash somewhere. I want thousands and thousands and thousands of other children to come by and connect to that history. They're so far removed from this that they can never be connected to where the United States has been and where we have been as a people. And I think it's critical that our young people connect so they'll know the wrongs and do the rights this time. And you can keep that rock or you can throw it down. But if you keep it and take it back to where it is, Beaver Falls, you need to put it where you can see it. Where you can see it every day. Because when you see injustice committed against anyone, and you feel like you can't do anything, go pick up that rock and hold it in your hand and take from it the strength of the ordinary people that stood on it. Ordinary people just like yourself that walked right out through there up to that bridge and made history that not only changed this hick town, but America. And then get up off your behinds and do something. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
To the bus. And don't be
And it was a word of mouth that got around. No cell phones, no Twitter, or couldn't text somebody and say, come to the meeting. We didn't know anything about cell phones. But the word got around that Diane said there was a new game in town. And so students started going to Clark and learning about nonviolence. Now, I always say that there were certain people, those who participated were God sent. Our Central Committee was God sent. I believe that. Our Central Committee was made up of Diane Nash, James Bevel, Bernard Lafayette, John Lewis, Lawson, and the Reverend C.T. Vivian. In the fall of 1959, we started our nonviolent. Was the first city in Greensburg, North Carolina. 4 young men went down to the store, to the restaurant, and had a sit-in by themselves. 14 days later, Valentine's Day, February 14th, there was 8 inches of snow on those streets. We had our first sit-in. We had 100 volunteers to come downtown and sit in. At first, we thought it was just a meeting at the church, but it turned out to be our first sit-in. The second week, we had 200 volunteers. The third week, 300, and the fourth week, 400, which was the 27th. We knew how many stools there was in every store that we were going to have a sit-in. The group was just that organized because NCLC, members of NCLC had taken the time to go to all of those stores here on Church Street as well as Fifth Avenue to count the stools. One of the things that we did, what we did was when we would meet at the church, let's say we were going to have a sit-in right here in the Nashville room, we had at least 4 groups of 18 people ready to come here and have lunch, knowing that they were going to be denied. Can anyone tell me why? When we only need, there's only 18 stools and we've got 4 times 18. Replacements. That's a good answer. Now, how do we do that? All the stores had back doors. Whites as well as black come in the back of the store. And so we would have a group kind of stationed pretty close to whatever store it was. Well, this store, we're in a store. As a matter of fact, before this became the downtown library, it was the downtown shopping mall. This was a downtown shopping mall. This room was not here, but downstairs and the second floor, those were clothing stores and shoe stores. We knew how many people, we had people waiting in the backgrounds in the event of an arrest. And so that when people were arrested, when you were arrested, and they took you out the front door to the paddy wagon, my group came in the back door.
To just have these people come and talk to us, it means a lot to me because they actually were a part of this. Just to get their experience and the stuff that they went through, and then how we take so much for granted after they risked their lives and risked everything, put everything on the line. And I think it's sad, but I think that we need to do better. So.